Welcome to Rampage. Now, was this a good show? Wasn't bad. Admittedly, near the end of the show, they did mess up on the camera a little bit when it came to Strickland and Tony Nese's match, and I will get to that. And I got an opinion that I might not be liked about. It's coming. But it wasn't a bad show. Now, we got Quinn versus Darby Allen. Now, this is kind of stemming into the Andrade fought. I can't believe instead of giving him a different name for his faction now, instead of saying the Andrade brand or something different, they go with the Andrade family office, letting a Hardy family office take over. What? It kind of rolls off the tongue. I guess I'm botching here because I don't like family office anyway. But was this a good match? Yeah, it was good. And I gotta say, Quinn made a big... I don't know what made him do this. He decides to do a 450 splash off the top turnbuckle onto a Darby Allen, onto the mat on the ground. Remember, guys, this is about as thick as they get. Now, Darby Allen was up part of the ramp, so it might have been a little bit thicker, maybe this much thicker, maybe this, but known as like this thick. It's not thick matting like WWE. They got it somewhat thick. It's not like this thick. It's like this thick with a little bit more thickness going up the ramp. And he does a 450 splash that if Darby didn't have broken ribs, he could. And Quinn as well. Because remember, you're on solid concrete. It's not something I recommend doing. It looks great, but the wrestlers, if they don't break their kneecaps or break the wrist, they can break their rib cage or mess up the sternums. It's not something I think is always necessary. It's flashy, yes. And I'm sure Just Alex is going to talk about that spot, and JD and Solomons is going to talk about the spot. But I don't agree with it. Sometimes you just don't need to do it. If you want to keep going without them getting too badly hurt and gone, you got to think about it. Now, Darby won by tap out. He got him into, I can't remember what type of submission he got him into, but he did get him into a submission. It looked good. Then the Andrade family office comes out. Excuse me. Congestion. The Hardy family office, no more. The Andrade family office, now for some reason makes me laugh like the Gorillas. They're not there right now on Impact, so I probably won't be laughing anymore. But when you see Andrade, I might laugh. Then we got the Hardy Boys coming out in their regular garb. They look like they do. And tell me that Matt has not kept himself in shape. He's like, 45, 44? No, he's about 45 almost. And Jeff is maybe 43, I think. Because Matt's older than Jeff. So I know Matt's in his mid-40s. Well, Jeff is in maybe his early 40s. He's a bit older, Matt, and he's near my age. So he's got to be 45, maybe pushing 46. It looks really good for his age. He's kept himself in great shape. He got himself in good shape. And you can see it now, particularly wearing the Hardy Boy garb. I'm just saying. Next match, Mercedes Martinez versus Jamie Hager. Now, here's the problem with this match, and I could feel it from the crowd. It was missing something. We know Jamie Hager messed up a Thunder Rosa. She's also screwed over Mercedes Martinez along with a Britt Baker. But here's the thing. Shouldn't this mean something? It doesn't. You know why? Due to the fact that Britt Baker has not dropped the damn title. Guys, I know not everyone's going to agree with me. I know just Alex is definitely not going to agree with me. I know JD's not going to agree with me. But honestly, Thunder Rosa should have won at Revolution. She should be going into her town as champion instead of winning the championship. Because they can make it feel more important. Because they can make it a much more longer segment than just the match itself in the steel cage. And then afterward, maybe 5 minutes, they'll show it on TV. And then the show will be over. I just do not agree with it. And this just reflects what's going on because since she didn't drop it, Hager and Martinez just doesn't feel like anything because Britt Baker's still in charge. If Britt had lost her title, you could feel more dissension between her and Jamie Hager, where Jamie gets screwed up, and it feels like it's got to be made important because Jamie should be getting angry. Of course, she's gonna have a gripe with Britt Baker eventually, but Mercedes is the spotlight here, and she doesn't feel like the spotlight because it's still about Britt holding the title, still trying to get ready for a Thunder Rosa. Now, Mercedes Martinez lost the match. She did, because Britt had to interfere while you got a spider suplex. Ooh, that she folded her ass up. I mean, Mercedes folded Jamie in half when she threw her off that top turnbuckle. She just crunched. I think her sternum had to hurt. It looked good, but that had to hurt. In the end, she lost. Then Thunder Rosa had to come out because they were about to tear up Mercedes' ass. There you go. Now, let me say this about Shida. What can I say? Interesting. Yeah. When it came to her and came to Selena Deeps, it felt empty. Because it should have been about Selena Deeps being a face and the Shida not having to turn heel but get obsessed with not winning her 50th win. That could have meant something, but they didn't go there. Now, she has revenge on her mind because she got her knee messed up, and the only thing she thought about was when she was doing rehab, when she had to have the surgery, when she was training. That was all about her thoughts of Selena Deeps, which finally makes some sense and is interesting. Is it great? It's interesting. It counts on how far they're going to go with this, because it only depends on how far they're going to go with this. Where are they going to let Selena Deeps and Shida go? I'm just saying. Now, QT Marshall versus a Keith Lee. I knew it was going to be a bloodbath the minute he gets into that ring. Yeah, I expected a little bit of defense from a QT Marshall, and he did get some defense in. He got a double slap to the chest, and he crumpled up like someone sets one of those folding chairs up, puts it slightly. That's what you got with a QT Marshall. He sold well. Not everyone's going to like his selling, but he made Keith Lee looked very, very dominant. Even when he threw him across the ring, which he didn't throw him as well as who was it? Cassidy that he threw, not Quinn, but he didn't throw him as well for halfway across the ring like he did with, I believe it was Cassidy, but he threw him pretty well. He was $2.30, $2.40. That's like $2.40 and $2.30, $2.40 in a QT Marshall. In the end, I didn't expect him to lose, and he didn't. But Colorado came in, Solo came in, he destroyed them, and then you see a little bit of the Team Taz come in there, and they nail him. Now, it's obvious they're making this about Keith Lee going up against Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs. That's what this is about. Now, what do I think is eventually going to happen? Do I believe he's going to go after the FTW title? I don't know. I don't think he will. But it would probably be a good idea if there was no Hook. I'm saying this again. Hook was not on the show. He beat QT last week. But if Hook was not there, I would say, obviously, let him take the FTW title from Taz's people. Take it from them. Because that will give him something, at least for a little while, until he drops it back. And then he will move on to maybe the TNT title. But you got a Hook. And I don't expect them to let Keith Lee go after the FTW title if Hook is eventually going after that title. Because he has to. It's got to culminate in it. If they don't let Hook get after the FTW title, his rise will mean nothing. I'm telling you right now, if anyone thinks I'm wrong, give me a good reason why he should not go after his own father's title when the time is right. Because sooner or later, Starks has got to drop that title. to some face, and then Hook's got to retrieve it. And it will go to Hook, a legacy that will make the best sense from father to son. That's the way it should be. Finally, all right, Tony Nese versus Swerve. I know I'm not going to get a lot of like here. Swerve Strickland. Now, was it a bad match? No. Did Swerve do a good job? He did okay. But I got to tell you, if you didn't see it in the title, I'm going to say it now. Nese was better. I'm sorry. If anybody thinks that Swerve Strickland is incredibly great, as what I've seen right now, no. You want to know why? It's simple. You have multiple types of high-flying wrestlers. You got some that are, as they call them, total spot monkeys that will do every move under the book and not have psychology. You got some who will use psychology. You got some that use psychology and be highly flamboyant while doing it. And then you have Swerve Strickland, where he is a good high flyer. No lie about that. But no psychology when it comes to one thing that many people don't understand when it comes to high flying wrestlers: when to sell. Guys, this is not about him debuting and looking like crap. No one's talking about that. Way he worked his match when he was dominant was fine. It looked good. I'm not saying that. But when it was time for him to finally sell a little bit to Tony Nese, he looked like crap. I'm sorry, he did. Through 3 to 4 different spots when he had to sell, he looked like he didn't even want to sell, guys. I'm sorry. You have to make it look good. When you look at Tony Nese, and I'm not a fan of him. I've never said I'm a fan of Tony Nese. I'm not. I've seen him in 205 Live. I saw him during the Cruiserweight Classic. And I thought he was a good wrestler. He was a high flyer at certain points. He was a good ground wrestler. Good grapple. But he knew, at least to a certain extent, how to sell. The best person knows how to sell and do it right is Pac. I call Pac my favorite wrestler as a high flyer because he understands the psychology of not only giving, but taking. He's going to give it to you, but he understands when it's time to take and to sell. He understands the right time to sell, the right spots to sell, the right way to sell. And for one to understand, Strickland, he's gotten 12 titles I think he's gotten 12 titles in 14 promotions. Great. But while he was in those promotions, did he learn how to sell properly? Now, mind you, I could be wrong, and maybe this is the first time he's on Rampage. He'll maybe be better on Dynamite, and maybe another Rampage. But usually, I can gauge it pretty well, and you guys have known me when I gauge it pretty well. You see it later in months, or maybe a year or so, you start seeing what I'm talking about, because you will see that even though the hype is gone and they are still popular, when it's time for something important to sell for the other person and to make them look good, in many cases, they don't. Because either they didn't learn how to sell properly or they don't want to sell properly. Now, when it comes to Strickland, I think it's more about him 100% not wanting to swerve properly. Not 100%. He looks like he could sell, but at this point, he just does not look like he sells correctly. Now, I could be wrong, and it could be because of his work in the ring. And you got a whole bunch of people there that have been in the business for 20 years that actually could see what I'm saying. Because remember, this is not just about me. You got William Regal in the back, CM Punk in the back, Bryan Danielson's in the back. Those people are the most well-known people that know how to sell and give. And they will see exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to selling for your opponent, to make them, at least when it's necessary, to look dominant and when it's necessary to look like they've been getting the ass whooped. They understand. And they're going to see it easily, way faster than any of us. And they probably already did while the match was going on, even though I saw it, that when in the first 2 or 3 moves, when he should be adjusting and not being so damn charismatic, they probably saw it even more before I did. I saw it halfway through the match when he started to sell. And it wasn't right. He didn't look like he was selling properly because a part of me thinks that he may not want to 100% sell. Doesn't mean that he's selling correctly, but it looks like he doesn't want to sell because he might be a little bit above himself. Nothing wrong with it, but still, I'm just saying. But this is my review. It was good that he won. Let me reverse that. It is good to see he won because it is his debut, and they want to make him look good. I am not hating the guy. I'm just telling you what it looked like. Now I can say, I hope you enjoyed this review. Please give me a comment below. I'm going to see if I can do my NWA Power and USA review. Hopefully you're going to want to watch it. I know I missed the last week. It was just, I couldn't watch it. There was too much going on. You got Sacrifice and then you had Revolution. There was no way I can do it. I burned myself out. There was too much. That's the reason why I didn't do it. So I hope you don't mind. Have a good day. Have a good night. Peace.